1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has launched Pakistan-China Business Investment Forum for promotion of business between the two countries. Imran Khan says the agriculture sector will be revolutionized with the introduction of better mechanization tools and technology. The Information Minister says the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf-led government is committed to transforming Pakistan into a welfare state. The Foreign Minister says Pakistan proactively and consistently advanced its diplomatic objectives on a range of diplomatic fronts during the last year. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference says India is massacring the Kashmiri youth in its undeclared war against the people of the territory. The United States has warned Russia that it will respond decisively if Moscow moves to invade Ukraine. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan launched the Pakistan-China Business Investment Forum in Islamabad today for business cooperation between the two countries. Addressing the inaugural ceremony, he said investors are being fully facilitated in Pakistan. The Prime Minister said the government has been taking steps to remove hurdles in the process of investment. He said the country's development is linked to industrial development and promotion of exports. Imran Khan said in the second phase of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, agriculture development is also being focused, emphasizing on vertical development of cities for food security and environmental protection. He said Pakistan can learn from China in urban development as well. The Prime Minister said Pakistan effectively and successfully coped with the COVID-19, which has been acknowledged at the international level. Prime Minister Imran Khan says agriculture sector would be revolutionized with the introduction of better mechanization tools and technology-enabled extension services. Chairing a meeting on the agriculture transformation plan in Islamabad today, he said olive cultivation and shrimp farming on commercial scale are the need of the hour to ensure food security in the country, which will help improve exports. The Prime Minister reiterated that the launch of Kisan Card will facilitate farmers to buy machinery and agriculture inputs. He directed the authorities concerned to establish centres of excellence in the Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa for research in major crops like cotton, wheat and rice. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Fawad says Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf-led government is committed to transforming Pakistan into a welfare state. Talking to media in Faisalabad today, he termed Sehat Card facility as a revolutionary program in the history of the country. He further stated that the government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Imran Khan, is introducing social welfare program to improve the living standard of the people. The Minister for Information said Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf-led government is emphasizing the use of electronic voting machines because it wanted free, fair and transparent elections. The National Command and Operations Centre has decided to increase stringent measures to ensure mandatory vaccination due to increasing number of Omicron variant of COVID-19. The National Command and Operations Centre meeting, chaired by the Minister for Planning Asad Umar, reviewed the evolving pandemic situation, national vaccination campaign and spread of the disease. The Minister for Economic Affairs Umar Ayub Khan and Special Assistant on Health Dr. Faisal Sultan also attended the meeting. The forum said the fifth wave of Omicron variant of coronavirus was spreading rapidly in the country. The forum urged the masses to use face masks to avoid contracting new variant and ensure social distancing outdoors to minimize the spread of disease. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says Pakistan proactively and consistently advanced its diplomatic objectives on a range of diplomatic fronts, both bilaterally and multilaterally, during the last year. He was presenting the year-end review of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at a news conference in Islamabad today. The Foreign Minister said, "We have consolidated friendships and further strengthened bilateral relations with major powers and key partners across the regions." He said, "We successfully and effectively put forward our perspective and narrative on major foreign policy issues, including Jammu and Kashmir dispute and the situation in Afghanistan." The Speaker of National Assembly, Asad Kassar, says Pakistan believes in peaceful neighbourhood. Addressing a representative Hindu delegation from India in Islamabad today, he said minorities have been enjoying full religious freedom in Pakistan. The Speaker said it is the need of the hour to strengthen ties with neighbouring countries on the basis of mutual respect. This is Radio Pakistan. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, India has implemented extremely brutal fascist rule to perpetrate atrocities in recent years. In a statement, the visiting professor of Southwest University of Political Science and Law, Sheng Shijan, said thousands of Kashmiri people have been slaughtered and women have been systematically raped by the Indian soldiers. He said the final solution of the Kashmir dispute is for India to withdraw all its troops from the occupied territory, stop its repression, and let the Kashmiri people decide their own future. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference has said India is massacring Kashmiri youth in its undeclared war against the people of the territory. In a statement in Srinagar today, the chairman of All Parties Hurriyat Conference, Musarrat Alam Bhatt, said New Delhi is targeting the youth under a well-hatched conspiracy. He reminded the United Nations of its 5th January 1949 resolution that acknowledges the Kashmiris' inalienable right to self-determination. He asked the world body to take steps on urgent basis to resolve the Kashmir dispute to save precious lives in the territory. Meanwhile, the Indian troops, in their fresh act of state terrorism, martyred one more Kashmiri youth in Harwan area of Srinagar today. On the other hand, a report released by the Kashmir Media Service today revealed that, perturbed by the growing support for Khalistan referendum by the Sikh community, the Indian establishment is working on a deliberate plan to repeat its episode of Operation Blue Star conducted by the Indian Army in Amritsar in 1984. The report added that the Indian political leadership has already built up cases against Sikhs for justice. The United States has warned Russia that it will respond decisively if Moscow moves to invade Ukraine. In a statement, the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said during a phone call with his Ukrainian counterpart, Vladimir Zelensky, the American President Joe Biden made it clear that its allies are ready to take action against Russia. On the other hand, Russia has described the presence of its troops as protection against expansion of NATO. Meanwhile, high-ranking American and Russian officials are due to meet on the 9th and 10th of this month in Geneva to discuss the crisis. Sudan's Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok has resigned after another day of mass protests rocked the capital Khartoum. Thousands of people marched against a recent deal he had done to share power with the army, staged a coup in October. Chanting slogans of power to the people, the protesters called for a return to full civilian rule, while the military forces again responded with force, leaving 2 people dead. And finally, the weather. Rain, wind, thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills is expected at scattered places in Baluchistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad, Upper Punjab, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir. Cold and cloudy weather is expected elsewhere in the country during the next 12 hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also log on to our website, www.gov.pk, and also facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official to view our live bulletins.